Tonight on Fox 13 News, live at 6, it's been 1 year since a 13-year-old boy from Taylorsville was fatally hit by a car while trick-or-treating. We're live as his family gathers to honor his memory.
I was talking to him, he told me he was cold, he told me he was scared.
A 3-year-old missing in the West Desert overnight for more than 12 hours. We speak with the man who found the little boy and reunited him with his family.
Those few hours of magic and then it's done, but it's sure worth it.
A Taylorsville Halloween display for a good cause is calling it quits after nearly 2 decades. Why the creator is making this difficult decision.
Let everyone know that we're Lone Peak's here. We're here to help.
Doctors and nurses on the front lines for a different mission this weekend. We'll explain why this house they worked on is something that will give people a brand new start.
And they're on the move. Hundreds of bison rounded up on Antelope Island. Why this event is so important for the animals and the land they live on.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News Live at 6 starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brian Schnee.
And I'm Amy Ney. Today marks 1 year since a Taylorsville trick-or-treater was struck by a car and sadly later died. Carl Finch was crossing the street in a crosswalk with his brother and friends.
Now, another boy was also hit but fully recovered. Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser is live at that crosswalk with how Carl's friends and family are remembering him today. Emily, good evening.
Brian, Amy, on this day last year, Carl Finch and his friends were crossing here on Matterhorn Drive, crossing 2700 West, when a southbound car hit him. Here on the corner, you can see a little tribute for him, a balloon that says in memory of Carl Finch. Today, friends and families of Carl gathered together in Taylorsville to remember the 13-year-old. Carl loved bow ties, so his friends wore them in honor of him, and also they wore blue ribbons, a tribute to the colors of the baseball team that he played on. The crowd prayed for Carl's family that they would find peace during these tough days, and they also wrote letters to him and munched on his favorite snacks and treats. His 11-year-old brother, Jackson, shared what he admired about his big brother and recounted the moments before Carl was struck.
We were having a really fun time until we got to the street. But before that, we were telling jokes, getting lots of candy.
There's that balloon tribute. It says in memory of Carl. Jackson said Halloween was one of his brother's favorite holidays, so his family is asking if you're going to be out driving tomorrow to slow down and pay attention for trick-or-treaters who are just like Carl. Tonight at 9, you'll hear more from his dad, and you'll also hear from Spencer Wall, who was the other boy who was hit here a year ago. Reporting in Taylorsville, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Emily, thank you. New tonight, we're hearing from the man who rescued a 3-year-old in the West Desert outside of Milford early yesterday morning. More than 100 people were out looking for 3-year-old Momo, who had wandered away from his family while they were rock hounding on Friday. Dylan Bell and his brother-in-law were supposed to go deer hunting on Saturday, but instead decided to help with the search. I spoke with Dylan this afternoon, who told me that when his group kept going east, something in his gut just told him to keep heading west, so that's the way he went.
It was one of the craziest feelings and something I will never forget for the rest of my life. Just the craziest emotions that you could think of. And as soon as I saw him and, they had told us what he was wearing, and he was wearing pink snow boots. And so that was just in my head the entire time. I'm looking for something to stand out, pink snow boots. And when I came around the corner and I saw pink snow boots, I just ran up there and, I just picked him up, and it was just a crazy, crazy moment.
Well, Dylan, who has 3 little girls of his own, told me he picked Momo up and hiked back to his truck, then drove him to the staging area where paramedics checked him out. He praised the effort from the entire community who came out to help with this search.
Salt Lake City Fire says residents of The View and Sugarmont apartments in Sugar House can return to their units tonight after some were forced from their homes by a massive fire that started 5 days ago. Salt Lake City Fire posting on Twitter that residents of those complexes will need to leave tags on their doors to be removed tomorrow. Business closures that are in effect right now will remain in place until further notice.
New at 6, a man is dead after being hit while crossing the street in Mill Creek. Unified Police telling Fox 13 that the crash occurred around 9:15 last night near 3000 South Highland Drive. Police say 60-year-old David Sacco was crossing outside of a crosswalk or implied crosswalk when he was struck by a vehicle. Sacco was pronounced dead at the hospital. The driver remained on scene and is cooperating with UPD. Police don't believe the driver was impaired here.
In West Valley City, meantime, a woman was hospitalized after getting into an argument along 2700 South, 3200 West overnight. Investigators say 3 people driving north were approached by a group of about 9 people who allegedly threw something at them from along the street. They got into a fight, and as things escalated, someone in the street allegedly shot at the group in the car. A bullet ended up striking an 18-year-old woman who was sitting in the back seat, striking her in the shoulder. Her injuries are described as non-life threatening. You're asked to contact West Valley Police if you're able to help them out with their investigation.
A popular Taylorsville Halloween display that helped bring donations for the Utah Food Bank is calling it quits.
Fox 13 News reporter Chris Arnold spoke with the creator about why he's having to make this difficult decision after nearly 2 decades.
My mom used to always have us make our Halloween decorations, and I found it fascinating.
Scott Child's fascination with All Hallows Eve has morphed into this. Every year for the past 18 years, his creation, dubbed The Child's Haunting, has been on full display outside his Taylorsville home.
Every year, I add at least 1 to 3 new things every single year, and it's blossomed into having a huge black light room.
Child says his display is months in the making every single year.
I decorate throughout the entire month of September and October, and then it's only Halloween night that I do the big show.
It's something Childs has used not as just a frightful fun time for those who show up, but also for a good cause. Well, Childs has also used this display as a way to get donations for the Utah Food Bank, sometimes bringing in 1,000 to 2,500 pounds of food. Now, Child says this will be the final year of his popular haunt after a bout with COVID-19 last year landed him in the hospital.
I even almost died 3 times, and it was scary. And after I got out of the hospital, I was on oxygen for a few months.
Child says the symptoms, including brain fog, have lingered. He says he's been diagnosed as a COVID long hauler. Zapped of his energy, Child says he's depended heavily on the help of his 13-year-old daughter and others to make his yearly display happen this time around.
She's done a good portion of the decorating herself.
What does it say?
Dan McIntyre has lived next door to Childs for 5 years and even lets him use his backyard for some of his decorations.
We'll come out here tomorrow night, and there will be, at any given time, 30 people out front.
McIntyre says he isn't completely sold on this being the last Halloween he sees the ghouls and goblins next door to his home. But if it is, he hopes plenty of people come out and support his neighbor.
Hopefully this gets the word out and we get the whole crowd. Taylorsville, Murray, West Valley, get everybody out here.
Something Child says he would like to see.
I do hope that there's a lot of people that come to enjoy the last night of this and see things for the last time.
In Taylorsville, Chris Arnold, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The Utah Pagan Market hosted its inaugural Samhain Festival at Evermore Park in Pleasant Grove today.
The Utah Pagan Market has apparently been hosting monthly gatherings these past few months, but this weekend they're celebrating Samhain, which is essentially like Christmas for the pagan community. Vendors and artisans coming together to show off their stuff for people to buy. Organizers say they've had a big turnout for this festival.
It's open to the whole community, even for those. We encourage people that are just curious about paganism, maybe don't know what to expect, and we love people to come, ask questions, see what we're all about.
This festival closes at 10 o'clock tonight. At 9 p.m., they say they are opening their gates to everyone to come inside for the final closing ceremony. For more information, you can go to utahpaganmarket.com.
Amy, I want to go back to Chris's story from a moment ago, because I know that you were looking at that and it got a little emotional for you.
I know, you can tell that meant a lot to the family and to the whole community.
Yeah, maybe it won't be the last year.
No.
Well, maybe
Very
not.
sweet.
Well, at least the weather's good. So, I mean, there's that for that.
There
if
is
it
that,
is the
Dana.
last
How about
one.
that weather?
You know, how about it? All right. Well, let's take a live look outside now, because it really has been a nice day. A little bit of haze around, but otherwise been pretty comfortable and a really gorgeous fall weekend. Here's a view from Donut Falls that we got earlier on our Utah's Weather Authority Facebook page. Beautiful weather. Of course, if you go up high, there's still some snow snow at our highest elevations, but everything looks great everywhere else, and there's still a lot of fall color around. We've had mostly clear skies today, a few high clouds, and we'll still have a few high clouds tonight, but it really should be very quiet outside and pretty comfortable. 55 in Salt Lake, 51 in Provo, and 71 in St. George. As we go through the next couple of days here, we do have a dry Halloween forecast with sunshine, but then on Tuesday, we start to kick up the wind and the dust. We'll have rain mixing with snow Wednesday. One important thing, though, we want to kind of look at here is that on Tuesday, if your Halloween decorations are still out because it is going to be so windy and dusty, you definitely want to keep that in mind to secure some of those loose items. But going into tomorrow, then, our scarecast, of course, it should be a sunny Halloween with temperatures in the 60s. Coming up, we'll talk about that midweek storm.
Thank you, Dina. We'll see you in just a bit. Lots more ahead on Fox 13 News live at 6. Coming up, healthcare workers in Draper giving back to a great cause, how they're making a big difference.
And what is it like to round up hundreds and hundreds of bison? Fox 13 News was there for the annual Bison Roundup at Antelope Island this weekend. We'll show you. Welcome back. Doctors and nurses from Mountain Star Healthcare's Lone Peak Hospital in Draper spent some time this weekend volunteering for a good cause. Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree has that story.
It wasn't a typical workday for healthcare workers at Lone Peak Hospital, but as always, they made a difference.
Let everyone know that Lone Peak's here. We're here to help.
Here to help in a health emergency or not. This respiratory therapist says whether it's ventilators or in this case, wheelbarrows, he enjoys serving others.
We just want to give back to our community, and doing this, would be it's an honor to do.
The Mountain Star Healthcare team worked alongside the Fuller Center for Housing of Salt Lake, a nonprofit that makes repairs on properties for low-income homeowners.
It's critical that we all work together and know each other so that we can all accomplish the same goal, which is to help people.
But this project was unlike any other.
We need to come together to be a part of addressing them and supporting these survivors.
Survivors of polygamy.
Our organization is called Holding Out Help, and HELP stands for Helping, Encouraging, and Loving Polygamists. Our mission is to provide those from a polygamous culture the care, support, and resources to become independent and self-sufficient.
Executive Director Tanya Toole says the additional housing is desperately needed. That's why they're turning this 10-bedroom home into a safe haven for as long as people need. Last year alone,
95% suffered from physical abuse, 61% from sexual exploitation, and 47% were labor trafficked.
Almost everyone that's helped here will get intense counseling for years. But that's not all.
By living here, then we can start focusing on what their future looks like, so they can decide what they want to become. Do they want to go get educated? Do they want to get job skills?
Setting them up for success like never before. As for the volunteers, they say they got the most out of it.
And that joy is contagious, and we just want to spread it to people around us.
In Draper, Jenna Bree.
I think that's it.
Fox 13 News, Utah.
Jenna, thank you. Survivors are expected to move into the home thanks to Holding Out Help at the beginning of December.
Talk about quite a sight to behold. Roughly 700 bison roaming Antelope Island, being rounded up by cowboys on horseback for their annual health checkup. It's an attraction that draws in thousands of spectators from all around the world to check it out. Fox 13 News photojournalist Julian Conrads takes us along for the ride.
They're not very predictable.
It's a blast. It's fun.
It's an amazing feeling, peaceful.
Thanks for letting us come and hang out with you. It's going to be a great day. Have fun and be safe.
You need help back there, Ed, or do you want me to just sit here and just wait?
Today we are rounding up the bison. We have about 700 on the island, and every year we just round them up and check their health, give them vaccinations.
It's an amazing feeling of just being able to be out in nature and just the anticipation of doing what we're doing and bringing the cows in for the winter.
I keep my distance. I just stay away from them. I mean, they're, like I say, they're very unpredictable, and when they decide they've had enough, you're a target.
They're very smart. It's their world. We're in their world. You got to watch your step.
Well, this was just phase one of the roundup. Between Tuesday and Thursday of this week, the bison will get individual health screenings as well as some vaccinations. After that, they'll either be released back on the island or sold at a later time in a public auction to cull about 200 bison from the herd. Let's turn to meteorologist Dina Friedman. We were all watching that just in awe. That is so cool.
It is really cool. And, you know, I didn't hear anything in the story on if they relocate any of the bison down to some of our other places in Utah where we have bison, like in the Henry Mountains. But that's just a super cool story. What awesome video from Julia. That's great. We had a beautiful day for the Bison Roundup and a great day for our holiday weekend here, or Halloween weekend, we should say. Of course, a holiday, right, for everybody. So Scott Taylor took this picture this morning of our awesome sunrise. Thanks a lot for that. We've had some high clouds here and there, making for nice optical effects in the sky. A few high clouds tonight should make for a pretty sunset as we're seeing now. And it is currently, temperatures are still in the 50s. So it's pretty comfortable outside. We had beautiful fall weather all weekend long. It's 55 degrees right now. Our high temperature today was 58, so pretty close to average and picture perfect all weekend long. Sunset, so you know, especially for tomorrow for trick-or-treating, is around 6:30 in the evening, about 6:26. It's 55 degrees now in Salt Lake. It's 50 in Hebrew. Cooling off in Park City, already down to 39 degrees there. 51 in Manti and 57 in Moab, 71 in St. George. So a nice comfortable day, a lot of sunshine. It really was a beautiful afternoon across the state. So here's those high clouds now, and then if we go off to the north and west, there's our next storm. It is going to be a little while till it gets here. We'll start to feel the impacts on Tuesday with the winds ahead of the system, but then it really gets kicking on Wednesday. Now, trick-or-treat forecast though for Monday looks good. So temperatures will be around in the lower 60s during the day on Monday, and then we'll be in the 50s here as we go through the evening. Creepily cool, of course. So make sure you have lots of fun. And our sun does go down at 6:30. So if you want a flashlight, that'd be a good thing to have, of course. Futurecast going forward, Monday, high pressure. So sunshine for Halloween. And here's that cold front creeping up, of course. And then by Wednesday, rain, and then switching over to some rain mixing with snow, and then some light snow on Thursday. So temperatures going to take a huge nosedive in the middle of the week. Overnight, we'll be in the 30s again, 38 in Salt Lake City tonight, mostly clear, 36 in Provo. We'll be in the 40s tonight in St. George. And tomorrow, you've got a great day for Halloween. So temperatures will be around 62 in Salt Lake City, 60 in Provo, 56 in Price, and 72 in St. George. Should be a lovely day. But then it does start to really all fall apart about Wednesday here. Southern Utah, the wind will start to kick up on Tuesday. So if you still have your Halloween decorations out, that is going to be an issue on Tuesday and Wednesday. It is going to be really, really windy. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and even into Thursday. So you'll have some rain. Temperatures knocked down by about 20 degrees. So big changes in the middle of the week. Let's look at the Wasatch here. So if you've got the sunny day, really nice weather for Halloween, and then wind, blowing dust on Tuesday, wind, rain, and snow Wednesday, and some snow Thursday morning. And look at our temperature swing. So we're going from 62 all the way down to about 42 for a high temperature. So if you like the cold weather and the snow, well, it's definitely coming upon us. But we'll have a lot of changes in the middle of the week and a lot of wind and blowing dust starting on Tuesday. But Halloween looks great.
A creepily cool forecast. Thank you, Dina. Straight ahead, the Red Cross is setting the record straight when it comes to blood donations and vaccinations. We'll share their message with you.
And is student loan forgiveness in limbo? The president disagrees, but it is facing a tough legal challenge. What you need to know if you're seeking student debt relief. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Amy Nay, Brian Schnee with you on this fine Sunday evening. Hope you enjoyed the NFL here on Fox 13. In your health headlines, there are some concerns out there that people's ability to donate blood might be impacted by getting your flu or COVID shot. But now the Red Cross wants to clear the air on this.
It's especially important as the push for blood donors ramps up heading into the winter months. Mandy Gaither has more on that.
The temperatures are dropping and respiratory illnesses are on the rise.
That really challenges the blood supply because whatever is affecting the population is affecting our donors.
Blood can't be stockpiled, so it's always needed. The Red Cross says it's especially vital now to help avoid a shortage. But the organization says many people think if they get vaccinated, they're not eligible to donate blood. That's not true.
There are no deferrals for either the flu or the COVID vaccines or boosters. We just ask that the donors be healthy and well with no symptoms the day that they come to donate.
Blood and platelets are needed throughout the year. The Red Cross says 1 in 7 people going to the hospital will need a transfusion. Donations are used to help people through a trauma, surgery, during labor and delivery, and it can be used for cancer patients and more. Supplies can also be impacted by fewer people being able to donate over the holidays or because of severe weather.
It's really a great time to give back to the community because, donating blood does save lives.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A legal challenge to President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program has millions of people wondering, what now?
Despite this lawsuit, the president is predicting that some borrowers will see their debt canceled within the next 2 weeks.
Jen Sullivan shares what borrowers and those who qualify for relief should know.
Debt relief in legal limbo. A federal appeals court put President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program on pause for now.
I'm still waiting for that relief, right? No one's had their debt canceled yet.
Friday's move barred the administration from canceling loans, while the court considers a legal challenge from 6 Republican-led states. So, what does it mean for the more than 20 million people who've applied for relief so far? The Biden administration appears confident the program will prevail.
But we're not deterred. We'll keep fighting for you and pushing through.
The administration had said Sunday was the earliest day it would start discharging loans. So people will now have to wait a little longer while the program's fate is decided.
I'm one of the people that we're fighting for.
Cody Hunanian is the executive director of the Student Debt Crisis Center, a nonprofit focused on ending the student debt crisis, who is also waiting for some of his debt to be forgiven.
It's not going to erase my entire debt, but it's a third of my student loan debt, and it opens up the door, hopefully, for the ability to purchase a home, invest in myself in a different way.
The program would dismiss up to $10,000 in debt for eligible applicants, up to $20,000 if they received Pell Grants. So, what should you do if you qualify? The White House is still encouraging people to apply at studentaid.gov. And the Better Business Bureau continues to remind you to beware of ongoing scams.
Scammers have been right there to take advantage. They know that there's a bit of confusion about what's going to happen next.
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Up next, it may be a lot more difficult to find turkeys for Thanksgiving this year. Hear from concerned farmers about this shortage that may impact the dinner table this holiday season.
Twitter users want to know what the platform's going to look like under Elon Musk's watch, and so do advertisers. I'm Alexis McAdams in New York. I'll have that coming up next.
A national day of mourning in South Korea after the country's worst disaster in many years. I'm Kitty Logan in London. More on this coming up.
Thanks so much for joining us here on Fox 13 News, live at 6:30. I'm Amy Nay.
And I'm Brian Schnee. While tomorrow is Halloween, it's definitely time to start thinking about Thanksgiving. 4 weeks away, and you might want to get your turkey early this year.
You're already planning dinner.
Apparently.
Yeah, I think we're trying to help you with that. Due to recent cases of bird flu and wide-ranging challenges caused by inflation, turkey farmers don't have as many birds this year. Nicole Camarda from our sister station in Boise has that story.
Right behind me, there's about 225 turkeys, and this is actually about half the amount that this local farm normally sees. And there's a couple of reasons as to why they're seeing a smaller supply of turkeys this year compared to others.
We started off the year as normal at our normal time with 600 birds. They had not even left the brooding barn yet. The bird flu came into the area.
After a neighboring farm was hit with bird flu, Caballo Farm in Cuna had to sequester their own animals to keep them healthy.
Locking them up inside was the first slowdown. when we're looking at 600 turkeys that are our bread and butter for the season, we didn't dare let them outside.
Forcing Kathy Caballo to leave her turkeys inside for an extra 6 to 8 weeks.
That is, their natural behavior is to huddle very, very closely. And when they huddle very closely, they create a pile. And unfortunately, when they're very small, they'll suffocate the ones on the bottom. We lost almost half of our birds to a piling incident in the barn because they couldn't get outside.
Down the street at Vogel Farms, they had to do the same, bring the birds inside to keep them safe.
So that kind of slowed their growth a little bit. We lost some that we normally wouldn't have if they were allowed to go outside. But it was a decision, you know, if they get the bird flu, they're all dead. That, you know, decreased our numbers a bit.
The heat wave that came through Idaho also hindered the birds' ability to grow.
The heat did not kill them off, but it slowed them way down. They couldn't continue to grow and live through the heat. So their bodies naturally reacted by simply slowing down their growth. And then once it started cooling down here about 4 weeks ago, the growth started picking up.
When cooler temperatures finally arrived last month, growth started to pick back up, but Kathy says they're already sold out.
We usually sell out about the second week in November. If we have a year where there's no serious issues that cause them to go down, we don't have a problem with selling out. We'll sell close to out, but not totally out.
I do know a lot of people are calling me, and they're calling around, and there aren't the birds. And they're a lot more expensive this year.
Inflation causing the prices of just about everything from feed to gasoline for equipment to go up, impacting the prices of birds.
You know, we had to increase our price. We're not having to buy the ready-made feed. I don't go for a huge markup. And so I just want everybody to be able to afford a turkey.
Everything has gone up, so we sat down and did all the math, and we did have to raise the prices. Our world is changing. There's a lot of supply chain issues. There's a lot of new diseases, and the weather changes have been immense. Be understanding if your store or your supplier runs out. Say, okay, maybe next year. Life is constantly changing, and we're doing the best we can.
Nicole Camarda, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Time in Ogden, a woman was taken to the hospital after she got into an argument at a Halloween party early this morning. This incident happened at the home in the area of 900 North Gramercy Avenue. Police say a disagreement led to a group of people being told to leave the party, and that led to shots being fired. A woman was shot in the leg by a stray bullet. She is expected to be okay despite what happened. No arrests have been made in this investigation. Ryan.
Amy, firefighters in Salt Lake City made quick work of a fire at a shed outside of a downtown home this morning. Happened about 9 o'clock, 254 South, 6th East. The fire had spread to an enclosed walkway behind that shed that connects two other buildings. Thankfully, no one was in those buildings at the time.
We would like to thank the public for rapid calls into 911. That got us here quickly, allowed us to get it quick under control and no extension to the major buildings.
Cause of the fire is still under investigation tonight.
The latest in world headlines right now is South Korea is in mourning after a huge Halloween celebration got out of control. More than 150 people were killed when a surge of people headed into a crowd, and it turned into deadly levels in a very tightly packed area of Seoul's nightlife district. Fox's Kitty Logan has the latest.
A growing memorial on Sunday in the Itaewon district of Seoul as people remember the lives lost in a deadly crowd crush on Saturday night. The tragedy happening while tens of thousands were out celebrating Halloween.
It really was just meant to be fun and dress up and have a good time, and it very quickly became more than that. It became an actual horror.
The situation became more dangerous when a huge crowd surged into a narrow alleyway. So many squeezed into such a small space that those trapped in the middle struggled to breathe, and even more people continued to push in from behind.
No control about where you're going to move at times based on where the crowd pushes you. But there was a lot of panic and confusion.
The music was loud. Nobody knew what was happening. That was the scary thing. And for us, we were like, what's going on? Like, from here, where we can go? There was no exit.
Witnesses say the streets were so densely packed that it was nearly impossible for first responders to reach those who needed help. Many of those who died are young people in their 20s and 30s. Officials fear the death toll could rise even further, with dozens still hospitalized in a serious condition. South Korea's president declared a national day of mourning on Sunday and said the government would do everything it could to support the families of the victims. The tragedy is the country's worst disaster in many years. In London, Kitty Logan, Fox 13 News, Utah.
In national news, Twitter is now charting a new course under new leadership from Elon Musk, but it's still too early to tell exactly how the platform will change. Fox's Alexis McAdams has that story.
It's official. Elon Musk is the new boss at Twitter, vowing to let the bird free by putting fewer restrictions on speech. Twitter has long faced accusations of political bias in policing content and what it chooses to label as misinformation, including from Musk himself. He's already fired several top executives, including the person in charge of content moderation.
There is a real question mark about whether or not Twitter can maintain its relative independence, its neutrality, effectively.
Musk says he plans to form a new content moderation council that will be in charge of creating new rules and potentially reinstating suspended accounts. While some are praising Musk's pledge to open up the platform, others are wary, including advertisers, like General Motors, who confirmed Friday it would temporarily pause all of its ads on Twitter until it gets a better sense of what direction the company is heading in. The deal's hefty price tag means Musk will have to tread carefully on what direction he'll take the company.
Twitter has not really been growing nearly as much as competitors. He's going to have to either slim down the workforce, or he's going to have to do new business models such as subscription services. And he's talked about making Twitter more of a super app, more around e-commerce and banking, etc.
The midterms could present Musk his first big test on how Twitter operates under his watch. In New York, I'm Alexis McAdams, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Still ahead, the ghost rider of Clinton, known for his frightening look and his heart of gold. The spooky Fox 13 Dream Team surprise you don't want to miss.
Coming up in sports, two former BYU running backs found the end zone in Week 8 of the NFL. Zach Wilson also had a couple of touchdown passes, but also made some costly mistakes. The highlights are on the way.
Let's talk entertainment, although you have plenty here on Fox 13. Several true story dramas are on screen this week, plus an animated adventure to stream at home and a new film filled with supernatural scares just in time for Halloween weekend.
It is that time of year. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has more on our new releases.
Let's descend into the mouth of hell, shall we?
The new supernatural horror movie in theaters is Pray for the Devil, centered around a nun who believes she's answering calls to be the first female exorcist, leading her to a battle with a familiar demon.
This was my boy.
Expanding to screens nationwide is Till, about Mamie Till Mobley's fight for justice after her 14-year-old son Emmett Till was lynched in 1955, and how she becomes a catalyst for a modern-day civil rights movement.
Which one of you is Jane?
In select theaters is Called Jane, set in 1968, starring Elizabeth Banks and Sigourney Weaver, inspired by true events as it follows a woman who seeks out an underground group providing safe abortions in the Chicago area 5 years before Roe v. Wade. In select theaters and streaming on Apple TV Plus is the documentary Louis Armstrong's Black and Blues, about the legendary jazz artist, directed by Sasha Jenkins, with archival footage and never-before-heard home recordings and personal conversations. Prime Video adds the thriller Run, Sweetheart, Run, about a single mom whose meeting with a seemingly charming businessman turns into a terrifying game of cat and mouse.
There was a rumor about him.
Netflix has The Good Nurse, based on the true story of an ICU nurse who helped uncover the truth about her colleagues suspected of mysterious patient deaths at multiple hospitals. The streamer also has animated adventure Wendell and Wild, from Henry Selick and Jordan Peele, about demon brothers who team up with a punk rock loving teen to summon them to the land of the living. The stop-motion animated film is also a comedic reunion, with Peele voicing Wild and Keegan-Michael Key as Wendell. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Happy Halloween weekend, right? A lot of people are celebrating.
Like what you did there.
Yeah, you get that?
Yeah, Halloween weekend. That's good.
There have been plenty of spooky and odd stories that have made headlines this past week.
Jeremy Roth shows us some of the weirdest ones.
Take a look at the week we had. With Halloween looming, there was no shortage of bizarre headlines, like the tense moments caught on camera in Los Angeles as authorities scrambled to capture a large mountain lion on the loose in the city streets. The wayward lion had wandered into Brentwood, sparked an elementary school lockdown, and managed to evade authorities for several hours before it was eventually tranquilized and captured. A freaky nose-picking primate landed in the history books after a study was published calling its booger-eating bad habit groundbreaking. The rare lemur species, known as an aye-aye, was caught on night vision camera picking its nose with its extremely long fingernails and feasting on the contents. The stomach-turning video inspired a Journal of Zoology study, adding the primate to the short list of species ever known to do this. And yes, that includes us humans. An Illinois family that's made a name for itself in the Halloween costume game has done it again. This year, it's the famous Skeleton Key organ from the Goonies. The Alfanos have become famous for creating elaborate costumes around the wheelchair of their son, Anthony, who has cerebral palsy. They've also paid their viral fame forward, donating several of Anthony's costumes to other families with children in wheelchairs. Finally, trick-or-treaters, beware the Monst Door. For this fully interactive decoration, Iowa dad Greg Dietzenbach had to craft a front door from scratch, incorporate a high-def TV, animate arms using broom handles, and fashion a foam-hinged, fully moving mouth.
You like candy?
Now that is creepy craft commitment. For Take a Look at This Week, I'm Jeremy Roth.
He's been spotted all over northern Utah wearing spiky armor, riding a motorcycle, and sporting a skull face. The Ghost Rider of Clinton is a hero to many children and adults in his very own community.
I love this story. The Fox 13 Dream Team wanted to show support for the man behind the mask, Kelly Hertel.
I'm Fox 13 News reporter Spencer Joseph here in Clinton to meet the man dubbed the Ghost Rider of Clinton. Kelly Hertel thinks that we're here to do a news story on him. But little does he know, Bob Evans is here too.
That's right. We're here to give Kelly Hertel a Fox 13 Dream Team surprise.
The Ghost Rider of Clinton, a man who's known in his community and beyond, suits up for Halloween.
This outfit that I wear is like 60 pounds, and I'll be wearing that 10 to 12 hours a day. But you know what? At the end of the day, it is so worth it.
But under the scary facade is a heart of gold. Kelly is an artist, fabricator, and mostly a philanthropist, spending his free time building things to give back, helping disabled children, and even raising money for the food bank.
I wanted to be the Ghost Rider because it was a character that people would automatically judge before they actually got to know him. Getting that message out was the key thing, is making sure that we're not judging anybody by their appearance. Just knowing that I inspired a child or uplifted a spirit from somebody, that's what keeps me going.
And it goes beyond the costume and, of course, the bike.
The Ghost Rider can't be the Ghost Rider without his motorcycle.
His house is completely decked out.
Most all this is just homemade. I make pretty much all the stuff myself.
Everything from superheroes to Disney.
Lock, shock, and barrel.
To classic horror.
This took me 2 months to set up.
Even his own headstone, his cause of death, decorating.
Every day that I was sitting there trying to put up all my decorations from the last year, I kept coming up with ideas.
Transforming his garage into a haunted journey for all ages and all abilities. And as Kelly walks out to greet his first guests of the year.
How you guys doing?
The Fox 13 Dream Team is standing by, ready to surprise the Ghost Rider of Clinton and to show appreciation for him and the organizations he supports.
Kelly, it's so nice to meet you. And you are the Ghost Rider of Clinton,
yes,
correct?
I am.
Kelly, we are here because not only is Spencer doing a story on you, but we're here with a Fox 13 Dream Team surprise. Let me introduce you to Jeremy Kartner from Mountain America Credit Union.
Kelly, good to meet you. Kelly, you do an amazing job. You're so involved in the community, have such a big heart. We wanted to say thank you and support you in all the efforts that you're doing. So we've got actually a $500 cash donation for you to make to the charity of your choice.
Oh, yes.
We know you do so much with charities and organizations here in the state of Utah, so we want to support you in that.
And then also, we've seen your beautiful artwork here and the amazing work that you do and the memories you build for children. So we've got a gift card for you so you can spend some money and buy the art supplies you need so you can keep
so
making
much.
these dreams come true.
Yeah, I do it every day and I will not stop.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're amazing.
What motivates you to do what you do here?
The motivation is the children. The children that I actually get to see in their faces when I walk in the door, and they just look forward to seeing me every time, and I will not hesitate to show up to their houses, you know, just if anything's going on, just to cheer them up if they just need to see me and just needs to see the support.
He does everything to give back to the community, and the fact that he allows a certain time for the special needs community to come out and enjoy it without extra exposure to everyone else. I mean, it's great. It's amazing what he does.
Thanks again very much for coming out.
And happy Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Well, if someone you know could use a Dream Team surprise, go to fox13now.com, click on that Dream Team tab, and fill out the nomination form. Let us know exactly what they need and why they mean so much to you. Just a great story.
We've had some emotional stories today. My goodness, to see the mom so touched at her daughter being able to be included in all the festivities.
Well, it's always really nice to see positive journalism
Yes,
happening.
isn't that nice to see? And I think Bob actually hurt his hand, grabbed him.
I know.
Hope he
Spiky.
survives.
It was spiky.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Halloween weather looks good, though, as we continue through the Halloween weekend here. So it was a beautiful day today. We've got some nice pictures to start off our weathercast this evening. A pretty picture from the Alpine Loop. Of course, we still have some snow up high and fall colors below. If you like sharing weather photos, we have our Facebook page at Utah's Weather Authority. We love seeing your pictures there. What a pretty evening. Temperatures now have dropped down into the 50s, 55 degrees, mostly clear skies, and we've got a light north wind currently. Now, going forward in the next couple of days here, Halloween looks really good. So we've got lots of sunshine on tap for tomorrow. But then on Tuesday, things get a little bit wicked, as you can say. So we'll have some wind and blowing dust. Of course, if you've got some decorations that are still out, that could be a problem on Tuesday and Wednesday because the winds are really going to get going. And then on Wednesday, we've got rain mixing with snow, changing over to all snow by Thursday morning. Boy, what a scary forecast, I guess you could say. 55 in Salt Lake and 32 in Alta, 48 degrees now in Draper. Pretty comfortable in Moab, where it is 57 degrees and 71 here in St. George. We really had a beautiful weekend both days, Saturday and Sunday. We're about picture perfect out there. Some high clouds around, and we'll still see mostly clear skies tonight. So there's not a lot of active weather going on in our immediate future. Our next storm still quite a bit of distance away as that moisture starts to move in. We'll see more of that impacting us late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Now on Monday, though, on Halloween, going through the evening, our sunset is about 6:26 in the evening, and temperatures will be in the 50s, so a little bit cool, but not cold, and it should be dry. Futurecast, we've got high pressure around, so we've got dry weather on Monday on Halloween, but then this cold front really gets moving in late Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. So Tuesday we kick up the wind, and then the moisture moves in Wednesday, some rain, and then changing over to snow. And the other big story is going to be the wind. On Tuesday, we're going to have that south wind kicking up around 30 to 40 miles per hour for a lot of us. So that's going to blow your decorations around and also create a lot of dust in the air. So that's something to look forward to on Tuesday, of course. And then on Wednesday, we still have a lot of wind as the cold front traverses across the state. So about one more day of really gorgeous weather, and then it starts to really change after that. 38 degrees tonight. We've got mostly clear skies here in Salt Lake, 28 in Park City, and 24 in Milford. And of course, it'll be in the 40s tonight in St. George. Now tomorrow, lots of sunshine here for Halloween. So it'll be a really lovely day. 62 in Salt Lake City, 60 in Provo. We'll be at 72 in St. George. So lots of fun for the kids there. As southern Utah, things start to go downhill really for you on Wednesday when the rain moves in, but it will be breezy on Tuesday. Rain goes in and your temperatures take a huge dive here with that cold front in the middle of the week. Everybody drops our temperatures by about 20 degrees. So it is going to get a lot colder. So Halloween, quiet weather in northern Utah, dust and wind Tuesday, rain mixing with snow, and then snow Thursday. Wow. We're going from almost nearly 70 degrees to a high on Thursday of 40 degrees. So big changes are on the way, but Halloween looks A-okay.
Zach Wilson continues to have his ups and downs in his second season in the NFL. Former Corner Canyon and BYU star quarterback led the surprising Jets against the Patriots today. Started out well for Wilson. Second quarter, he fires it to Tyler Conklin. Makes the catch for the touchdown, and the Jets were on top 10-3. He passed for 355 yards and 2 touchdowns, but also had 3 interceptions. Admitting after the game he had some bonehead plays. Here's one of them, saying his second and third interceptions were bad plays. That was his third. 4 Patriots in the area when he was picked off led to a field goal, put the Patriots up 22-10. Wilson and the Jets, though, continued to fight Conklin once again in the end zone for a touchdown. That cut the lead to 5. They could not get in the onside kick, and the Patriots won it 22-17, beating the Jets for the 13th time in a row. Wild game between the Panthers and Falcons. Atlanta quarterback Marcus Mariota gets it to Tyler Algier. Former BYU Cougar has the speed to get into the end zone. His first receiving TD in his second overall in his rookie season. Carolina down 6, 9 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. P.J. Walker throws up a prayer, and DJ Moore is there. 62-yard touchdown tied the score. But Moore took off his helmet. That's a 15-yard penalty, pushing the PAT back to a 48-yard attempt. Not an easy one. And Eddie Pinheiro missed it. Also missed a kick in overtime that would have won the game for the Panthers. Instead, Younghoe Koo kicked the game winner for the Falcons. They won it 37-34 in overtime. They lead the NFC South. The Lions look good early against the Dolphins. Jamal Williams right up the middle. 7-yard touchdown run by the former BYU Cougar put the Lions up 7-0. Then in the second quarter, Williams again, his second rushing touchdown of the game. 8th this season for the Lions. It put them up 21-7. But the Dolphins rallied back. Tua Tagovailoa to Jalen Waddle. 29-yard touchdown pass cut the lead to 7. Then in the third quarter, Tua found Mike Gesicki in the end zone. That put the Dolphins up for good. They won it 31-27. The Broncos took on the Jaguars in Wembley Stadium in London. Denver's Russell Wilson gets it to Evan Ingram in for the touchdown. Broncos trailing, though, 10-7. But they had a 98-yard drive in the third quarter, capped by this touchdown run from Melvin Gordon. The Broncos run top 14-10. Jacksonville went back on top, though, on this Travis Etienne touchdown run in the fourth quarter. But the Broncos answered back. Latavius Murray with the winning touchdown run. The Broncos won at 21-17, ending their 4-game losing streak. Coming up tonight on the Fox 13 Sports page, we'll hear from the Jazz after last night's win over the Memphis Grizzlies, plus a look around the association. Donovan Mitchell's tearing it up. We'll have more from the NFL, and we'll hear from the Utes, Cougars, and Wildcats after their games last week.
Well, the Jazz have settled in after starting 3-0. It hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows.
But what a start after a crazy offseason. Got the fan base excited. They can deal with a few losses here and there.
Sure.
After getting
you can't be perfect in the NBA.
I think we're getting to know these guys, right? We're going to have to find our favorites.
Yeah, they beat Memphis last night. They'll play them again tomorrow. Same 2 teams.
They just like playing at home.
Yeah, let's get it.
Thank you, Jeff.
We'll be right back. Finally at 6, a piece of art from the late Andy Warhol is up for grabs for someone with really deep pockets, aren't they always? It's called White Disaster. It shows a duplicated black and white image of an automobile accident. Sotheby's auction says it could sell for about $80 million. Warhol created the 12-foot tall, 6-foot wide silk screen print in 1963 for the artist's Death and Disaster series. The auction for the print scheduled for November 16th. Before that, White Disaster will be on display at Sotheby's New York starting November 4th. Any of you got 80 mil?
Not
really.
Yeah, I just
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right?
But it's big, yeah. See, you're not into that. You don't want an automobile
I'd save my
accident
money.
on the we work in news, so probably not.
I know.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 6.
We'll see you back here for Fox 13 News at 9. Have a great night.